The All Progressives Congress, led by two popular persons, Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, used deception to get power in 2015, telling people that fuel price will sell for as cheap as 50 naira. There will be electricity and water, agricultural development, and so on. And that was all that Nigerians could hope for, considering that the then President Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan was engulfed in the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community and had no other goal than how to defeat the Boko Haram Muslim community. That was his basic pursuit for 4 years. War against the Boko Haram Muslim community. There was no security, the economy was down, and so on. So, with the All Progressives Congress promising a better lease of life, Nigerians were naturally expected to embrace the party, and they did. Unfortunately, they did because they did not pay attention to the electoral promise, to another aspect of the electoral promise, which is Buhari's "I will defeat Boko Haram," which will have made Nigerians to know that this man has nothing to offer Nigeria than to continue the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, which of course was what he did in 8 years. And beyond that, he added S-men terrorism to the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, thereby worsening the situation than under Goodluck Jonathan. No, it was not that Jonathan's reign was better than that of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. No, it was a bloody 4 years, a bloody reign of 4 years. Yes, relentless war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, ravaging human lives and the economic resources of Nigeria. The army depleted, the police depleted, all the security forces depleted, seriously, including the depletion of the foreign reserves left behind by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. Jonathan's presidency was extremely disastrous, only that Muhammadu Buhari added S-men terrorism, which is of course additional. But otherwise, there was nothing, absolutely nothing to write home about Jonathan's 4 years. That's the truth. So, those trying to compare the economy of Jonathan with the garbage, absolute garbage, and you can't praise Umaru Musa Yar'Adua either, because he started the war in 2009 before he died, and then he died in 2010 himself. And Jonathan truncated rotational presidency and faced the wrath of the Northwest, and settled for the war for 4 years. Nothing to write home about. No enjoyment, no nothing. Worsening inflation. That was what led to Nigerians embracing the All Progressives Congress in hope that something better will come out of it. But I said it was myopic. I stopped being a fanatical supporter of Muhammadu Buhari the day I saw his campaign poster, "I will defeat Boko Haram." At any rate, so it is not any spell than deception. That was the spell used by Tinubu and Buhari, or Buhari and Tinubu, and their so-called All Progressives Congress, retrogressing Nigeria since 2015 till date. And so how did Muhammadu Buhari get re-elected? Or even before we mention that, we must not exclude the fact that economically, apart from the war against Boko Haram, herdsmen, terrorism, Muhammadu Buhari, at his age and frailty of health, also doubled himself as Nigeria's petroleum minister, such that even when he was sick in London, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company had to be taking documents to him on his sick bed. Yes, as Nigeria, it was not an area to be handed over to his vice president, And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there was no spell other than Muhammadu Buhari is a co-pilot of the so-called All Progressives Congress, tipped him as his successor. Of course, he had to remind Muhammadu Buhari, "It is my turn. I helped you for 8 years." And you can say, okay, even hearing that alone will have been enough to make Nigerians to say, "Upon our dead body will Bola Ahmed Tinubu become Nigeria's president." But of course, Muhammadu Buhari also used his power, and he had supporters, because evil people are as numerous as bush. And people of like mind, like Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are numerous. You could see that Malam Nasir El-Rufai and Atiku Abubakar went to pay homage to Muhammadu Buhari some months before he died, when there was no death written on his face in good time. Though some months later, he died. But they went to pay homage to him as a great leader, therefore putting themselves in the same shoes with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who vowed to toe the line of Muhammadu Buhari. And so you ask yourself, what have Malam Nasir El-Rufai and Atiku Abubakar to offer Nigerians, since they also see Muhammadu Buhari as their model? So that is the issue we are dealing with. But otherwise, there's no spell other than deception. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we heard that they have increased fuel price. We shall decrease the fuel price, only to lie about fuel subsidy and use it as an excuse to escalate fuel price more than triple what Nigerians were lamenting under Muhammadu Buhari. And now Despite worsening insecurity and worsening mass abject poverty, even worse than under Muhammadu Buhari, many politicians are decamping into the APC of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or even those who remain in their political parties, pledging to support his re-election, including the likes of Seyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, and Ademola Adeleke, the governor of Osun State. People elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, supported the election and pledging to support the re-election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But there's no spare. In the case of the likes of Seyi Makinde and Demola Adeleke, we have seen their goal in the goal of Nyesom Wike, who did and is doing what they are saying they will do, support the re-election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The goal is to get favor from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, such as Wike, appointed as the Federal Capital Territory Administrator by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So there's no spell but deception. And the fact that human beings like deception. They feel elated in empty promise and their own empty hope, as it were. But again, Nigeria with 67 political parties, 67, and all of them will go to the polling unit or to the poll to want to get elected as this or that, rather than teaming up together to redeem Nigeria from the clutches of the so-called All Progressives Congress. The African Democratic Congress Coalition is Atiku Abubakar's own initiative to achieve his own long-term dream of becoming Nigeria's president by all means. And he doesn't want to know whether there is not or some, he must become Nigeria's president. Not less desperate than Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And with all their desperation, we saw what Muhammadu Buhari did for 8 years. Worsening insecurity. Oh God.